Well, now we know which way the wind's blowing.
We're back at the tower property. We're going to mow another section of it with a different mower. It's pretty grown up, so it's going to be a good test.
There's a ditch right in here that I'm not going to cross. I think I probably could cross it. I'm not gonna.
We know that in our prior episodes, some of you had some issues hearing me over the tractor noise. I think this one should be a little bit better, but just understand it's very difficult to capture quality audio while the tractor's running full throttle with a mower. But we continue to learn. We think we're getting better.
A little bit of a wilderness out here. It's been a long time since we've been out here, so it's grown up pretty bad. I should have put some weight on the front end of the tractor. I kind of forgot. It's bouncing around too much. I've got a heavy hitch weight bracket for the front end. I usually put those 42-pound weights on it. I like that combination because it's compact. It doesn't have as much width and height and all as the loader. But it still holds the front end down very nicely.
We've got a lot of different shots of us mowing this section here today. And then near the end, we're actually going to take some close-up looks at the cut quality and evaluate that. So I think this is going to be a fun one. And if you're interested at all in a flail mower, I think you'll find this episode helpful. One challenge we often face with the Deere 1 series is keeping the radiator clear of seeds and brush and just little weeds and anything that might stop the airflow. Well, this field is a perfect example of where we might have problems. We have a lot of Kentucky 31 fescue. We have some, what a viewer called canary grass that you saw in the prior video, and several other tall grasses and weeds that will tend to collect on that front radiator screen. And sometimes that gets bad enough that you have to stop every few minutes and clean off not only the radiator screen, but the internal screen that's under the hood. Because of that, I tend to watch the temperature gauge very closely when I'm mowing tall weeds like this, and I never had to stop this whole project. I have a theory that my 511 Designs front grill guard is helping here. I think maybe it's pushing down those weeds so they're not getting quite as close to the radiator screen and not getting within distance to where they can be sucked in there. Now, I didn't test this. Obviously, I didn't take the guard off or do any type of testing like that, but in the past I've had a lot more trouble than I did this time. So if you're having similar issues, you might try one of these hood guards from 511 Designs. Of course, that's not their primary purpose. Their primary purpose is to keep you from jamming brush into your radiator, but I think it might be helping. 511designs.com, use code TTWT for 5% off.
Now, some folks will be saying I'm going too fast. I don't know if it just looks different in the video or what, but I can't be going over 1.5 to 2 miles per hour, so I'm definitely not going too fast. What's really going on here is that this tall stuff gets pushed over by the tractor tires, and there's just no way that the flail gets it picked back up. I've got this flail set at its highest setting, and that again is reacting to some comments. Some comments were saying a flail mower always appears to scalp. Well, truthfully, a flail mower does a better job when it's cutting lower. But we here in the U.S. don't typically like to see low cut. I don't know if our grass is different, I really don't, but we typically like to have a fairly nice high cut. So I set this as really as high as it would go. Now, I let it float on the 3-point hitch. I just put the 3-point hitch all the way down, and then it's a roller in the back, and it skids on the sides. Since the tractor pushes the grass down forward and the cutter is spinning this way, it doesn't serve to pick that grass back up like you might expect. Other than that, this mower is mowing just as well as the front-mounted Ventrac mower we showed the other day. If you look between the tire tracks, you can see that it's doing a fabulous job mowing. this is the most simplistic flail mower that Maschio makes. It's fixed right behind the tractor. There's no way to slide it left or right. It does have one wrinkle. If we had a front PTO on the tractor, it can be turned over and it can be run on the front. Someday, I hope to try that. We don't have one right now, so we can't do it. Given that the euro is down against the dollar right now, I realize we've got all kinds of inflation, so things are difficult to buy, they're expensive. But this is made in Italy, and given that the euro is down, this is a cost-effective time to buy the Maschio fixed flail mower. You can go to agfolks.com, use coupon code TTWT. This is the BIRBA, Verba. I believe it's a 61-inch, 5-foot 1-inch mower. A flail mower is quite flexible. It will mow big, heavy stuff like this, but it'll also do a good job mowing something closer to a lawn. I don't think it does quite as good a job as a finish mower for lawns, but it does pretty good. This one's got the hammer cutters on it, fairly heavy hammers too. I still don't like to run it in really heavy brush, about an inch, maybe an inch and a half, but it's gonna hammer a lot if you get in that larger brush. What size do you need for a subcompact tractor? 1025R, BX 2680, that size. I think this 61 inch is the right size if you're mowing bigger stuff like this. It's entirely possible that you could pull a little bit bigger one if you were not mowing heavy material. In other words, I think it might pull just a little bit easier than a single spindle brush mower. The standard 1025R out here today because I wanted you to see how it would behave on a standard subcompact tractor. If you try to run a 5-foot brush mower on a tractor like this, there's no way that you could do it without front weights. So even though I'm bouncing around a little bit when I raise it up, it illustrates that since that mower is so much more compact in this direction, it just feels lighter on the tractor. Is probably about 5 acres. I'm not going to mow it all with this mower. I'm spoiled at this point, knowing that I've got some larger mowers at home. But I do want to give this one a try, and I'm pretty happy with it. Again, I might have to go over this in a couple of weeks again to get some of these tire tracks out. They kind of bother me. But it is shredding it pretty good. It pulls fairly easily for the 1025R in such heavy brush. And it's relatively inexpensive. First thing that comes to mind here is what I didn't bring along with me today. I didn't have my canopy and my fan, and yeah, it's warm today, and so it's kind of hot with the sun shining in. The canopy really helps to provide some shade. But what I noticed more than anything else is missing the fan. And after having it just the other day with the Ventrac, the fan creates a curtain of air right around me, right? And with that curtain of air, none of this stuff, like I've still got on me here, can get to me. The light stuff, right, just doesn't get to me, and it really makes it a lot more pleasant to be able to mow, especially like when you're mowing into the wind. Even into the wind, that curtain kind of protects you. It's an odd thing. It's hard for me to describe. I just didn't have the bracket on here, and the only canopy that I have is, well, either orange or white. You didn't want to see an orange one. White one wasn't going to look good. And my vanity, you guys know my vanity is very important to me. No, more it was just that I didn't have the bracket on. So if you want a canopy and fan that'll fit your 1025R or BX or essentially anything, the way this bracket's mounted, the bracket stays on the tractor. And you can get it at Artillian.com. Use coupon code TTWT. It only applies to the canopy and fan. No other product at Artillian.com honors the TTWT code. Not sure why. But anyway, if you get the two together, you get a discount. And then if you use coupon code TTWT, you get another discount. Shoot, you're almost getting the thing for free. Why did I spend so long talking about that? Because it was bothering me a lot, and that was what was on my mind. Let's look at the cut quality here just a little bit. If you remember the prior episode where we had Vinny, the Ventrac, mowing right down there, we were doing some trimming with it, and it just did what I would say a much better overall job. I think it would be hard to argue with that at all. But I think if we look close, we can't blame the mower. We can't really credit the mower in the other case, right? Because it's not about the mower, it's about its relationship to the tractor. The Ventrac has that mower in front of the tractor, and with a standard tractor, we have the mower in the rear. I talked a lot about that in the prior video, and I really think we can see it right here, right? We can see that in between the tire tracks, it's cut. It's cut nicely. You just don't see anything left sticking up. But the tire tracks themselves, a lot of stuff sticking up, right? When I talked to the manufacturer about this, they said, well, the best thing you can do to eliminate the tire track, coming back up, is to mow lower. So that's how I'd had it adjusted in prior videos when we've shown this thing. But this time I wanted to try it higher and kind of show that. So I didn't want it scalping, and that's what a lot of people complained about when I showed it last time. So I raised it to its maximum height, and this is the result you get. You can see a couple places where I've made either a crossways trip or a diagonal trip on what's already mowed, and almost all of this stuff that was coming back up is cut off at that point. So that's a way to handle that, but it does a phenomenal job mulching. The pieces that get mulched are the resulting pieces are much smaller than they are with even a brush mower, right? So that's one of the advantages here. The other advantage is it's lighter weight than a brush mower, and therefore you can probably get by with a slightly larger one on a small tractor that doesn't have a lot of lift capacity or a lot of front end weight. Costs a little bit more than a brush mower, but it probably does a better job in most conditions. This is pretty extreme. It cuts here fine. Run over this twice, it'll be fine. But if we're mowing in shorter grass, you'd be pretty impressed with the cut of a flail mower. Again, this one has the hammers, not the Y-shaped knives. I don't really know which is best. I am not a flail expert. All I know is I'm spoiled at this point, and while we've mowed maybe, I don't know, half an acre, maybe a little more, I think it's time for me to get a bigger mower for the next episode. Maybe even Kool-Aid. I don't know if I can talk Christy into that. She may be upset about me using the cab while she has to stand outside.
Maybe. Yep.
Guys, if you have any questions about the Maschio flail mower, leave them in the comments below. If they're too difficult for me, you can go to agfolks.com and talk to their customer service there, and they'll help you through the questions. Remember, code TTWT. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time on Tractor Time with Tim.
Know also that wisdom is like honey for you. If you find it, there's a future hope for you, and your hope will not be cut off.